Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another Endless Winter playthrough for our 5x5 series. Now, I feel like I might have bitten off more than I can chew with this because we are using the Rivers and Rafts expansion, which in and of itself adds a bit of complexity. But one of the expansion modules that I added, like the or promo modules, whatever, is the ceremonial grounds, and we'll get into all that here in a moment. But in my practice game, I didn't change the AI too hard, and they still beat me given the extra stuff we added. So I'm going to leave it that way for now, and we're going to kind of see how it works. If I end up winning, we'll increase the difficulty. But I got more points than I ever have, but they still beat me by quite a bit. So the River and Rafts changes this entire board, as you can see, and part of it is kind of off screen because it's just big now. And what we have are these rafts. We have this little raft guy that'll go down, and on our turn, whenever we would be moving a tent, we can move our raft any number of spaces down here. If it gets down to the end, it stays there. Obviously, we can't go any farther. And at the end of every eclipse phase, this ends up coming back to the front. The main thing with this is that when this comes down, any spots, this gives us one influence on any of the river spots. And of course, during the eclipse phase, we get one of these salmon tokens, which gives us an immediate bonus. Whoops. The other main thing that happens is we have these monuments on here. So you can have up to 3 of these monuments on the board, and they will give us an ongoing kind of bonus if we have majority there. So I end up picking these two interesting ones where we have tents on the outer rings. We'll get 1 point for each different tent. Is that what that says? And then we have one for the inner ring. So those were chosen completely at random, but I believe that is it. So the arch is going to give us 1 point for each of our 12 outer hexes of terrain that has at least one of our camps on it. And then the boot gives us 1 point for the internal 7. So for these ones for that, and then the 6 in the middle, or 7 in the middle. There's also a volcano, the monolith, and the tree. They give us some additional points. And then if whoever's the farthest or tied for the farthest down at the end of the eclipse phase, as you can tell by this tile here, will get 1 point for each of their tents on the river. If I'm reading that correctly as well. So there's a lot going on here with that. Yeah, so it says the delta. So when you resolve the terrain benefits, if your raft is closest to the delta, gain 1 point for each for your raft, plus an additional point per camp that you have on the river on a river hex. So because the general shape is the same as the base game, you don't have to do anything with the AI cards. And then the other kind of thing is that we all have a starting place to put this, and this is where we start our base camps at. So I'm putting mine back here. So whenever I would place a tent out instead of the middle like we do in the base game, we place it on that, or we can place it wherever our raft is, so long as our raft's not at the beginning or the delta. So I can actually use that as a spot. So we've got a couple more options on where to place it. It makes this a little more interesting. The way it works for the AI is that whenever they take their turn, so when they do their raft, before they perform any actions, they move their raft 1 space down the river. And then whenever they, and then of course at the end of during the preparation phase, so after when we reset everything goes back. They reset just the same. And then whenever they go attempt to make a village, this is also considered in that thing. So here, they would be able to make a village right here, because this counts as one of their things. It also counts for one of ours when we do it too, and then this resets to the beginning, just like our these would go back, which actually that'll go there. And then whenever during the eclipse phase, if they have a deal next to like a village next to one of the landmarks, instead of getting the points, they just score 5 instead. And then of course whenever they get the salmon tiles, just the same. So, and this counts as 1 influence. So there's going to be a lot more to keep track of here. The other module that we added in, so that's the main base game. That's how it changes for the AI. There's not really too much, except we've got this little area to manage. We also have to add in this tile, which is going to give us 2 points for each of our villages adjacent to what are the monuments. And then these, this came out randomly, but these stellar sea cows came in, so we can tip them for 2 salmon, and they treat like any other 2 animal thing where you get 5 points for having 2 of them. The two modules we added are first off the ceremonial grounds, and so the ceremonial grounds basically give everyone a special card. This is my starting hand, and this gets added to the bottom of the deck. So here's the one we have, the Bear Aurora. No, that's not the ceremonial grounds. That's the Aurora Borealis. Let me do the Aurora Borealis first. So the Aurora Borealis, we all get one of these, and they all give us a special bonus that we play this at the beginning of the turn. And then whenever we would take an effect, we would get to do that thing instead. So for us, whenever we would bury a card, we can actually draw one of the cards from here instead. And then it gets discarded like any other card. And then during the Eclipse phase, we'd get to bury 3 cards. Now, we're going to play with the purple one because we're the purple player. But you can do it to where you can take one at random. And so you don't necessarily have to have the one for your particular tribe. But that just goes to show you they're all asymmetric. So this goes on the bottom of your deck at the beginning of the game. The AI doesn't interact with it, so basically the way it works is that because the AI doesn't interact with it, this makes the game easier for solo, so you can either play on hard mode to give them 10 points to start with. I didn't do that, and it's mainly because we're playing with the ceremonial grounds. So the ceremonial grounds are going to be these cards here that at the end of the Eclipse phase, on your turn, you can take one of these cards to score it immediately, but then you place it over your burial card, and you can no longer bury cards for the rest of the game. You normally play with 1 plus the number of players, so we normally play with 3, but in solo we play with 4 because at the end of each phase, if we don't take one, then they will take one and gets 5 points for it. So this is how they got ahead, because you want to wait later in the game. Obviously, we're burying stuff. We don't want to stop ourselves from burying. So they just got 15 points from me before I got to get to bury enough. So it's kind of a balancing act between the two of that. So at the end of the Eclipse phase, you may choose to take one of the available ceremonial cards. If you do, immediately gain the bonus of the base bent on the particular criteria, then turn it sideways and place on your burial card face down on top of your burial cap. After you've taken the ceremonial card, you may not bury cards for the rest of the game, so you ignore that effect. And then one ceremonial card, each player can only take 1 per game. So we're going to have to figure out which one we want and how we're going to utilize it to its best of its ability. And then, like I said, the AI, we're going to place 4 of them, and then we're going to, during each of the Nomad's Eclipse phases, if you have not taken one, remove from the game the left or rightmost one, and then the Nomad gains 5 points. If you have taken a ceremonial card, remove the rest, and then they can't take one. So that's a way we want to either balance out taking it quickly to prevent them from getting the 5 points, but we're not going to get very much, or we're going to wait a while to maximize that, but it's also going to give them points. So considering all that, we're going to go ahead and just play on normal. I might have a better chance because this will be my second game with the expansion. So anyway, the other thing that the Rivers does is switch out the card for the warrior here, and it has an ability that we can move back one of our opponent's one of our opponent's tents. However, I don't think that takes an effect in solo. So we have our starting hand. Our starting card was the Crafter. We have the Sabertooth, and we get our resources. I think in the last game I forgot to give myself the extra food, but that's okay. So anyhow, let's just hop into it here, and we're going to start the game with the Nomad. So they're going to go here. They will do the Megalith action, which is going to be the leftmost one, and then a leftmost downmost, which will be this one, getting them 2 food, and then they'll bury a card. Okay, our go. So we have no culture cards to play. Maybe we want to capitalize and try to get some of these just so that we can take this. Oh, but I need to be able to bury stuff, so we've got to figure that out. Okay, we'll figure it out. So the ceremonial cards, we have 3 points for every different tapped animal, 1 point for every food and tool, 1 point for every tent, 3 points for every village, and then 5 points for every sacred stone. Okay, so our Crafter card was the start one we started with, so maybe we want to go for that. So we're going to play, we're going to go, and we're using Chief Thunderpaw. So we're going to go here, we're going to play this and this, so it's going to give us 3 there. For a culture card, let's grab Fertility Rites, so we get a tool, tap an animal, and bury a card. Wait, is that what I want? No. Let's get Burial Mounds. We can discard a card to gain 2 over here, get a food, and tap to bury a card. Then we have 3. Oh, that was one we got. We're going to spend 1 of each to take... we want to take this one and try to... Yeah, let's take this one. So this will be 2 points if we... Well, do I want to focus on that, though, is going to be the question. We'll take this one. So we're going to take this one, and it's going to let us bury a card. I'm going to bury this card, and that's going to end our turn. So this will get us a point for every one of our tiles down. Okay. The AI is going to go... The Nomad will go here. They're going to get a point for every one of their villages on a glacier area, so that's going to be 3 points for them, because they've got 1, 2, 3. They're going to move. Oh, yeah, they do move first, and then they'll move their stuff around. They can't build out a village, so we're going to move this, move the inner 2. So go here and here. Right? Yeah. And then they're going to bury a card. All right. Let's go ahead and play this. So we'll discard a tribesman to go up 2 on this track to get a food and to bury a card. We'll bury the tribesman we just discarded. And then we're probably going to rest this turn, and then maybe we can do something with this. So we're going to go here, and we're going to play out these, and I'll spend my food for a tool. We've got 4 total. Let's use 1 to flip these. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. We'll use 2 of them to take this. Or do I want to take one of these other ones and try to score these? No, I'll take this one, and I'll take this one. I'll take those 2. Oh, and I gotta spend 2 here. I guess I could do another one and take one of the sea cows. Yeah, let's take one of the sea cows. We're gonna spend all of our stuff to take 3. So that was the 4 that we used for this action. The 1 for refilling it, and then 3 for that. We're gonna tap 1. We're gonna tap the sea cow. That's gonna let us take 2 of these. The first one we take is gonna be taking one of these cards and putting it in our discard pile. Let's take a shaman. And then the other one is going to be a megalith action. We're going to place out that megalith here. And that one... yeah. We'll get 2 food. And then we get to take a random animal from the top, which is going to be one of these guys. Okay, that's going to be our turn. The Nomad will go. They'll place their last worker there. They'll do a megalith action. They're looking for the rightmost, uppermost space. So the rightmost space they can take is this space. Get them 2 tools. They're going to bury a card. They're going to move on this, and then they can make a village. So they're going to be able to make a village. They can make one here, here, or here. So they're going to pick the rightmost space. The rightmost space would be this one. So we're going to place that there. This gets reset there. And then we have to move back. We have to move these ones to here, here, and here. Then they're going to move their food all the way to the top. And they're going to be able to place down and move. And when they place down and move, they would just take that action again. So it moves this forward. And then they'd be able to place another village. Which they place it here. This is the rightmost space they can place one. So they're going to place it there. It's going to reset this again. And then they're going to move these here. And then they would move one more time. And they can make a village. They can make a village here. So they're going to make their village there. Because I take that as this is 2 separate actions. So I don't think they get they get to do both things. So they're going to get to make a village there. So all 3 of their villages came out. And then we're going to move everything again. And that moves these over here. Okay, well that sucks. Oh, hold on. I messed something up because these shouldn't be that spread apart. So I think that's there, and this would have gone here, and then I think that's how it would have been. No, this would have been here. Yeah, I think that's how that would have been. Okay, I'm just going to play it that way. It's fine. Okay, and I don't know if that's totally correct. And then they're going to bury a card for their last action. Okay, we're going to rest. It's going to let us draw a card. We're going to eat an animal The animal we're going to eat's our saber-toothed cat. It's going to get us 2 food and 2 tools. And let me see when this is supposed to trigger off. For the solo, for the ceremonial grounds. Hold on, let me just see when it's supposed to pop off for a second. If it's at the end of, during step 4, oh no, I'm sorry. During each of the nomad's eclipse phases. Okay. And then we get our card draw. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go into the eclipse phase. So we're going to look at turn order. I take turn order, so I get to go first. And then I'll receive my benefits. So we're going to get to place a megalith out. We're going to place that megalith there. I'm going to get myself a culture card. We're going to take this one. Then we're going to do our eclipse pile. I have nothing in my eclipse pile. We're going to do our terrain tiles. I've got nothing for the terrain tiles on our player board. We're going to get a point. And we're going to get a tool. And then I'm not taking one of these for them. They're going to draw a card, which buries a card. They're going to... Oh my goodness. They're going to bury everything. They're going to... Here. Okay, so they have... Okay, they got a lot of stuff going on here. So first off, they get influence here. So they get themselves a salmon. That gets them a random animal card. They have influence here. They get a salmon, which gets them 3 food, which turns into 3 movement on here. 1, 2, 3. They get a tool for that. They get to go up on this track with this. They get 5 points for being next to that. They get 5 points for those. Okay. And then this resets. And they get a point for having their thing the farthest down and having they get 2 points because they had a tent here and they had they're the farthest, so they get 1 point for that. So they get all those points for that. They're going to take one of these, so they'll take this one away, which is the one I kind of wanted, but I wasn't paying attention very well. I'll try to go for this one maybe. They're going to take this away, gives them 5 points. And then their player board, they're going to get a tool, and they're going to bury 3 cards. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so I think that's it. So we're going to discard these. We'll refill the culture cards. I'm going to draw my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to start our turn. So I've got buried 2 cards. If I can get more cards buried, I'll be able to take this deal here. And I think it's at the end of the eclipse phase, you may choose. At the end of your turn in the eclipse phase. Okay. So I can maybe get stuff buried if I don't play this out and then take this. And then I can play this and forego having to bury stuff to get more cards. I think that's going to be probably our play. All right, so let's go ahead and start here. So we're going to play this. We'll spend a tool to place this out. Whoops. We'll place this here to draw 2. Then we are going to... I'm going to try to get some more animals turned over. We'll go here, and we've got 2 there. We have an animal one. We don't. We've got 2 there. I need different kinds of animals for this one. And then I want to be able to tip over this stuff. So we'll spend 2 of our tools to take this and this. Yeah. Oh, I should have refilled. Hold on. I should have refilled this one. So actually, we're going to take this and this. I'll leave that there. Then we are going to tip an animal. We're going to tip over the moose. It's going to, oh, not the moose. Not the moose. Oh, I don't want to wait. I have all this food to use. That's fine. I'm going to tip over the moose. It's going to let me get 4 food, which I can't use. But then I can place out one of my villages. We're going to place that village out Actually, I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it, but instead of moving or moving a village, you can move down this any number of spaces. Let me double check that that is the right thing, because they just move one, but I think, yeah, camps can only be moved. Wait a minute, placing camps, moving your raft. When you would move one of your camps, you may move your raft instead. So we have to place this out there. Okay. And then we could take a random animal. We're going to take this cat there. All right. The nomad will go. He will place there. He'll go wrap around, place here. He'll get a random animal. And then he will do a megalith action, which is going to be the rightmost space he can take, which is going to be this one, which buries him 2 cards. That's his turn. Culture card we're going to play. We're going to play this one here. To get a tool, to tap an animal, we're going to tap... Or maybe we want to wait to do this on my next turn. Let's play this to spend a food to take one of these cards. We're going to take this one. Then we're going to play out here and spend a food for a tool. And that's going to give us 1... 2, spend a tool, 4 total. We're going to spend a tool to place out this here. We're going to move for 1 movement here, 2 movement there, and 1 movement there. Of our, wait, we have 3 movement or 4 movement? Hold on. That was 1 movement, 2 movement. Yeah, so that's our 4 movement. And in fact, I'm going to spend a food actually for 1 more and get a 5th movement here. And then we can't make a village, and then we get to place a tent. I'm going to place that tent here, and then we can move again, and we're going to move right there. Okay. They're going to take this space because it's the last one left. They're going to take one of these. They're going to take the rightmost one by spending this and this. They're unable to do a card, so they're going to get themselves that. And then they would also, yeah, that's burying the card. And then... they're going to prepare their eclipse pile, and they're going to take a random animal. Okay, and then I'm going to... Oh, I forgot when I forgot about that token. Okay. I got to remember that rest token's there. We're going to play this to gain a food, to tap an animal. We're going to tap the sloth to get a tool and 4 food. And then we're going to bury a card. We're going to bury that. Okay. And then I'm going to rest. And I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to tap another animal. We're going to tap... I'm going to tap the Griftune to get up on that track and then get more food. And that should be my go. Okay. They're going to take their last turn. They are going to go here. They're going to flip this over and take an animal. They're going to take one they already have. They don't have either of those. So they're going to take the leftmost one and then the bottom one here. Let me get that out of the way. So that's their animals right there. Then they're... Oh, let me move this up so I don't forget where we are. Then we are going to take a random animal. They're going to refill. Take one that they need. They're going to take this one. And then they're going to take a random animal. All right. Oh, and this is my eclipse pile, by the way. So I'm going to keep this in my hand, but this is my eclipse pile. So our eclipse is 2.5. Their eclipse is going to be 1. So we keep turn order. So we'll get a megalith out. And I was hoping to get somewhere where I could bury a bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to be able to bury enough things. I need to be able to bury one more thing to maximize the burying ability. So let's go ahead and we'll go here to draw 2 cards. We're going to get 2 tools, and we're going to bury 3 things. And let's bury the tribesmen, and we'll bury... this crafter. So that leaves me... Oh, that's 7 cards that are buried. Okay, so we've buried 7 cards. We're good. So that... Wait, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we buried 7 cards. So this gets discarded, and then at the end of our deal, we're going to take this. We're going to take this volcano. But it says at the end of the eclipse phase. Yeah, at the end of your turn in the eclipse phase. So we determine player order. We're going to receive our benefits here. So we get nothing from here. We get a salmon and a salmon. So we get 2 salmons. The first salmon is going to be 3 food, which I can't take. And I think there's nothing lesser than that. And then we get a food and a card draw. And then our player board is going to give us 3 points for this. And then a tool. And then we're going to take this and score 15 points because we have 3 different ones. And then we're no longer burying stuff. So 15 points. And then these get discarded. They're no longer in play. And then we'll draw our hand, which all I have, I've burned my entire hand. So that's all I've got. Okay. Then they're going to do their card draw, which they will get a tool for instead because it would be this. They can't get that. Then they are going to do their player boards. Not the player boards, down here. Oh, and I actually forgot. I get myself 3 points for that too. So 1, 2, 3 for that. Okay. So first off, they're going to get... Let's do the villages first. So they're going to score 10 points right here for those 2. Which I don't know if I gave them 5 points earlier. I'm going to... If I did... If I end up winning by 5 points, I'll give it to them at the end. The villages, they're going to get the salmon for that village, which is going to be a point and a food. That's the thing. There's a lot to keep track of with this because you've got so many more things to consider. They get another salmon for the other village, which is going to be a megalith action, which is going to make them place it out on the rightmost, downmost spots. The rightmost spots here. It's a culture card. They're going to take that culture card into their pile. Then they're going to get a tool, which they convert into a movement on here for 2 points. They get movement on this. They get 5 points there, putting them at 38. I think that's right. I think that's it. Okay, I think that's it. And then their player board, they're going to get 2 points for that. They're going to get a tool that they convert into this, and then they're going to bury 3 cards, which they're going to convert into 1, 2, 3. That's going to get them 8 more points. Okay, and that's their turn. Then we wipe these out and we go to the second era. And now my goal here is to just get a bunch of the to get probably this one, and I've got to figure out the other one I need to get out. Oh, I rested. I should have taken... I forgot about that tile too, so I guess I keep forgetting about that tile. Okay, I'm going to take the pink one. Okay, so that's probably what I'm going to go for on my first turn. So we'll pull back. I forgot about that stinking tile. Okay, so we no longer can bury stuff. That's okay. Let's take a look at what we got going on. So we're going to go ahead and play this. So anytime we would bury something, we're going to... we would get to take one of the tribe cards instead. Wait, am I going to be able to do it this turn? Yeah, we're going to play this to discard this card. No, sorry, discard this card to move up 2 on here. That's 2 points. Get a food that we can't take, and then bury a card. Again, we won't bury a card, so we'll add a card to our hand. We're going to add to our hand this card. Then we're going to go here, and we are going to spend a tool for 3 there. Yeah, we'll spend a tool for 3 there. So we're going to take a culture card. The culture card we're going to take is going to be... Let's take this. Man versus Megalith. 2 tools for a tribe card and a Megalith action. We're going to take a Sacred Stone. So we're going to spend food and tool and 2 food to take this one. Place that there. That gives us one of these. We'll take this, put it in our discard pile. And that's going to be our turn. And then this gets discarded. Okay. They're going to go here. They're going to take a culture card. They're going to take this culture card, and they're going to do a megalith action. There's nowhere for them placed on top, so they're going to place the leftmost space, and then upper, this one. They'll refill, and they'll take something they need. They need just this one, so they'll take that one. Okay. We're going to go here. Oh, we want to play culture card first? Yes, we'll play this culture card. So 2 tools for a hunter and a megalith action. That's going to let us place out there for 2 tools. Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll place the hunter we just grabbed. Where is it? The hunter. Is that all I need? I think maybe that's all I do need. Yeah, we'll place just the hunter out. Gives us 2. We spend 2 tools to take these 2. And then we go down here to tap an animal. We'll tap this to move up on that track and get the food. And then we'll go down here to take a random animal, which is going to be this deer thing. So I've got 2 of those. I need 4 of these tapped. Okay. Okay. And then the nomad will go. They're going to have to go here. They're going to see if they can build out a village. They are unable to. So they will move down on this track, flip this over, move their 2 inner ones to here and here. Oops. And then they'll bury a card and 2 cards for their eclipse pile. Oh, this is discarded. I don't know why I put it there. We'll place this out by spending a tool. We'll place this on here to flip this over and take something. We'll take this. Perfect. And then as our action for this turn, we're going to go here. And we're going to play out that and that. So we're going to spend a food to gain a tool. Then we gain a tool for taking that action. So we have 1, 2, 2.5. Honestly, I'm going to play this too. 3, 4, 5. We have 5 total. So we'll spend spend a tool to move this down. We'll spend a movement to go to here. So we have 3 left. We're going to spend 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to spend 1, 2, 3 to take this and place that there. So these come back. And now we're going to get a point for every one of our things on the inner 6. Or inner 7, I mean. And then that's our go. And this is going to be our eclipse pile. They're going to do their turn. They're going to go here. They're going to get a point for every one of theirs on a glacier tile. I don't think this doesn't count as a glacier tile, so they get no points for that. They're going to try to make a village again. They can't make a village, so we'll shuffle this up. So they're going to move their inner 2 here and here. They're going to bury a card, and they're going to take 2 cards for their eclipse pile. Okay. So eclipse time, I have 1. They have 1, 2, 3.5. So they're gonna take turn order. So they'll go them first. They'll megalith. Can they do 4? They can't. So they're gonna place the rightmost space, which will be this one, which gets them a random animal. They are going to do the board down here. So they'll get themselves a salmon token, which gets them a food and a card draw. The food, it's going to turn into this, and then the card draw is going to eventually turn into this. That's for this one. For this one, they get a salmon token, which is going to be 2 points, and it refreshes all the salmon tokens. So we reshuffle them all back up. This one, they'll get a movement on here and get a tool, which could turn to a movement on here. They'll bury a card, which gives them a movement on there. They get their 10 points for this. They get 5 points for that, and then they get a megalith action that lets them place there for 5 more points. Okay, and then they're going to do their player board, which is going to be 2 points for this. A tool, so they move up on this 2 times. Or, yeah, I think they're there. And then they're going to move up on it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Which will get them 2 more movements because they have their resources pulled out, so they get a point. They're going to get a point for now moving that all the way up. And I think that's their go. So we're going to do our card draw, which, let's shuffle this up. We'll do our clips pile, which will get us this here. We'll do our terrain board. So we're going to get 1 point for this one, because that's the we have for the inner. We have 1. It's kind of lame. We're going to get 3 salmon tokens. So the first salmon token is 3 food. The second one's a food and a point. And the third one is going to be 2 points, and to shuffle these back in. I'll get a point for being the farthest ahead. That resets. I'll get 2 food there that I can't do anything with. And then our player boards will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for this. And then for this one, we have 2 of them, so we get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. We get a tool. We move up on that track, and we get a card draw. And then we draw our hand. We go into the final round. We'll refill this. Okay. Whoops. Alrighty then. Let's move on to the last round of the game. Let's remove that too. I probably shouldn't even care about going up this track. I should probably work on this one because I'm already going to be second on that anyway. So it probably doesn't matter. Okay, they're going to place out here. That's going to let them get a point for every village on a glacier tile, so they get a point. Then they're going to they're going to move this down, and then they're going to make something. They're going to make a village here, because that's all they have left. And then everything shifts around. These 3 will shift over here. That's their go. Okay, our go now. We'll play that culture card, so we'll spend 2 here for this into our hand and a megalith action. We're going to place this out there. No, actually, hold on. Before I do that, let me play this. So I'm going to place this out here. So instead of burying a card, we're going to get to take one of these to our hand, and then we'll get to move up on a track. We'll move up on this track. I got to get caught up on that. Then, as our action this turn... Oh, I need to refill this. Would it behoove me to try to get that other... I think it would. Okay. So I think it's in the middle, so we don't have to worry too much about it. I think what we're going to do is... go here. We'll spend a food for a tool. That gives us a tool. I'm sorry, that gives us an extra hand. And then... yeah, that gives us 2 hands. I have no tools, so I need to be able to take 2 cards. So we'll just take these 2 with 1 hand. With the extra hand, we'll spend a tool to take this. We'll tap an animal. We're going to tap this guy for 3 food and going up on that track. And then we'll take a random animal, which will be this guy. That gets discarded. Okay, the AI will go. They'll take this action. Oh, that's mine. They'll take this action. Gets them a culture card. They'll get this culture card. They'll get a random animal. And they will get a megalith, and they'll take the leftmost one. So this one, by paying a tool and 2 food, which gets them a tool back. All right. Then we are going to play this by discarding this. We're going to get 2 on this track, which lets us bury something. We're not burying anything. We're going to get a food, and we're going to get to bury a card. Again, we're not burying anything. We'll go here. Is that what I want to do? I think it is. To place these two out, so that's going to be of us 3. Oh, I can't place a tent out, though, because I have no tools. So maybe we don't do that. Maybe we just try to get animals turned over, and I get that megalith token. But I need another tool to... I need a tool to get the animal, and I need a tool... I need a tool to get this tile. So I'm kind of in a bad spot here. I should have played this for fertility rights first. Maybe we'll just rest. We'll draw a card. We'll take this token for a culture card. We'll take this culture card here. And then we will turn an animal over, and we'll turn over... I'm going to turn over the sloth. Well, I need to turn over this this guy here. So we'll turn him over for food and go up on that track. And maybe we won't end up getting that other one. We'll see. Okay. And then they're going to take their last turn of the game. They're going to go here. Gets him a megalith action. They'll place on the rightmost spot they can place, which is going to be this one. 2 points. Bury a card. Bury a card, which gets them a food. 2 cards here. And then they get to move their stuff around, so they'll move around the inner 2 like that. Okay, our last turn of the game. So we've got a couple culture cards. If I could play this one, we'll play that. Oh, this gets discarded, sorry. We'll play this one. It gets us a tool. We can turn an animal over. I think I'm probably going to turn the sloth over to get another tool. And then we could bury a card, but we have no cards to bury. The question is, do I want to get this out by discarding something? And I think the answer is probably yes. So we'll discard the shaman to do this. This will play this out and let us place out... Well, actually, maybe I don't want to do that. No, we'll play here and draw 2. Okay. Then, for our final worker... Oh, that was there, sorry. I need to get that... I need to get this here. So... But the question is, which one of these will I benefit from? If I take this, that's going to be 3 points for me at the end of the game. So is the 3 points worth it? Plus whatever culture card I take is going to get me points. I can get myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I think that's probably the thing that's going to yield me the most points. Unless I try to forego the tap of this will 10, and then I try to figure out here I can get some more animals and make some sets, and maybe that's a better option. Maybe I'll yield more points that way. So we're going to take that option instead. So we're going to spend our 2. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm going to play that out, spend a food for a tool, and play that out. That gives us 4 total. We'll spend 1 to refill this, giving us the most options possible. We'll spend 1 tool and a thing for a moose, a tool and a hand for this, and a tool and a hand for this. And these don't have to just go with one thing, right? They can go with... And then I can turn an animal. At the end of the game... Okay, I can add 1 or more to anything. So twisting one of these isn't going to add anything. I can twist this. I can turn this one over to get 6 food. So I'll just maximize my food, I guess. And then my eclipse pile is going to be these 2 cards. Okay, so we're going to go to the eclipse. I have 4.5. They have 1, 2.5. So I take turn order, gets me a megalith out. This megalith's going to get placed on here, which is going to let me go up on this track twice. I get to add one of these to my discard pile. So add that to our discard pile. We're going to get to go up on this twice. So I get to add one of these to my hand. Nice. Okay. And then we're going to do our, that was our clips pile. We'll do our terrain board stuff. We're going to get 2 food here. We're going to get nothing here. We're going to get 2 salmon tokens and a point. Salmon token number 1 gets us a card draw and a food. Salmon token number 2 gets us a card draw and a food. And then our player board is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points there for this tile. We get 10 points for this because we have the 4 there. We get a tool. We get a card draw. We go up on this track once, twice, so that's 4 more points. Yep, there we go. And I believe that's it for us. Okay, so now the AI is going to get their stuff. They're going to get a burial, which turns into a food. They're going to get, for the board here, they're going to get 3 points for that. So 1, 2, 3, because they get 1 point for this and 1 point for each of these for being the farthest on that. They're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 salmon tokens. So salmon, they would convert that into a point. Random animal, 2 points, and a point and another point. So those are all their salmons, right? They're going to get 10 points for this. Oh, that's me. Sorry, they're down here. They're going to get a megalith action, which is going to be placed on the rightmost one they possibly can. So this is the rightmost one, which gets them a point effectively. They're going to get 2 food, which is 2 points. They're going to get 2 points for this. They're going to get a point for this and a point for this. So they're at 101. And then their player board. Oh, I guess they would get a point for this one as well because of this. Then their player board, they get 4 points for those. They get 3 points for this and 3 points for this. And I think that's it. So now we go to end game scoring. The offering track, they get 15 points. I get 7, 8 points. They get 15 points for being the end there. I get 10 points for being the second place on that. Tribe and tribe cards and culture cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points for that. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 points. Non-tipped animals, they get 10, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So they're at 181. We get, we added this and this, so this gets us 16 points, putting us at 111. So, assuming I played that correctly, yeah. Them getting this out at the beginning completely ruined our day. Like, completely ruined our entire life. Like, this completely devastated us. For them to almost nearly lap us, 181 points. I mean, I got annihilated. Because they just converted and got everything up on that track so quickly. I mean, having all of this here completely just just completely crushed us. So that is using the Rivers and Rafts. It's using the Ceremonial Grounds and the Aurora Borealis mini expansions, and then so the next playthrough will be the cave paintings with a couple more mini expansions, and then we'll do a big playthrough with everything. I'm running out of table space. But anyway, we did lose one. So I actually find this really interesting, but it's a lot to manage from a solo perspective, because it's just like there's a lot more stuff to keep track of on this, and it even suggests like only like basically you have up to 3 of these, and for each one you add it as complexity. So maybe playing with one would be better, because you're just having to keep track of this one monument. There's 5 of them there, so I don't know what I think about that in terms of like how we wanted to shape that out. But anyway, and I think part of the failure of my case here is I really neglected this, which I feel like you have to go into it hard with this expansion, and I didn't really play with it very much. I tried to go on this animal route, and it just didn't really pay off for me. So maybe when we do the big one, depending on what the cave paintings add, we may just really focus hardcore on this and try to maximize this as best as possible. So anyway, that's going to be the playthrough for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys think of this expansion if you've played it, and that'll be it. I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.